So, folks, we have to talk about the CDC and, well, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, if you guys haven't been paying a ton of attention to what's happening on the national level when it revolves around health policy, and that is that essentially there's been one long unmitigated attack against vaccines, backed up by shoddy research papers, clearly written by like ChatGPT, with sources referencing studies that don't exist, not just on one, but on multiple of the studies that they are pulling out to like support some of their harebrained conclusions at the HHS that they want to use to then implement new policies, right? One of the things that has been affected by this are, for example, Florida ending vaccine mandates for all schools in the state, which is, I mean, children will die as a result of that, just as an FYI. Like, just directly, that is signing the death warrant of children. But another problem seems to also be rising here, which is that, well, people aren't vaccinating a whole host of, in a whole host of new and disturbing ways. I.e., well, if you've been told by the government that vaccines aren't effective and don't work, why would you vaccinate your dog? Why would you vaccinate your pets? And so we've seen a pretty direct result in a rise in rabies. So that's cool. There are now 15 likely outbreaks in multiple states across the country. Now, for the record, in case any of you are wondering about rabies, if you get rabies, that's really bad. It's likely going to kill you if you don't catch it quickly. Now, why aren't people vaccinating their pets? Let's take a look. Well, 6 deaths from rabies have been reported over the last 12 months in the United States, the highest number in years. From rabid skunks in Kentucky to gray foxes in Arizona and raccoons in Long Island, wild animals in more than a dozen places across the United States have experienced a rise in the deadly disease, at least partially driven by shrinking natural habitats and better surveillance. Now, also, let's just scroll down here a little bit because this is insane. Each year, 1.4 million Americans are checked for possible exposure to rabies, and 100,000 receive a series of vaccine injections to prevent them from becoming ill, according to the CDC. Largely because if you get rabies, you are almost certainly going to die. There's like 1 or 2 people ever who have survived rabies. It is not a high likelihood. Last month, Samantha Lang was one of them. Lang, 22, was likely bitten by a bat that flew into her apartment from a hole in her ceiling in Greenwood, Indiana. The day after she noticed tiny marks on her arm, she discovered the bat alive, hanging from her air conditioning vent. After contacting her local health department, she was urged to receive rabies post-exposure prophylaxis. She got it immediately. "I never thought I would have to worry about it," Lang said. "Oh, that is scary. That is scary. You can see like the 2 puncture marks." Yeah, guys, if you see like a red swelling and then it develops like an arm like this, you definitely need to go to the doctor right away, because that is some kind of infection trying to creep up your arm through your bloodstream. Yeah. The rabies virus invades the central nervous system and is almost always fatal once symptoms start. Early symptoms, which can begin after about a week or so, or up to a year after exposure, may resemble the flu and progress quickly
when I was a
to
kid,
confusion.
I thought rabies was HIV for raccoons.
Oh no. Thank you for the $5 dono. Confusion, paralysis, salivating, hallucinations, and difficulty swallowing, followed by death within weeks. Let's take a look here, because this is insane. For the number of cases to go up 100%, and we're not even over this year's rabies season, that's a big deal, said Scott Lavigne, the county's health director. Lavigne suspects that the urban growth in rabies that's been encroaching on wild habitats has been an important factor for driving the spread of rabies. Okay? Now, pair that with a couple of different things here. Worries about vaccination rate in dogs. As rabies seems to be spreading more in wildlife, veterinarians are especially worried about vaccine hesitancy spreading among pet owners, a dangerous trend that could lead to more dogs and their owners becoming infected. A 2023 study published in the journal Vaccine found in a nationally representative sample of Americans that nearly 40% believed canine vaccines were unsafe, and 37% believed the vaccines could lead their dogs to develop cognitive issues such as autism. So, so people aren't vaccinating their dogs against rabies or against anything else for that matter because they think their dogs can get autism from the vaccines. For almost 40% of dog owners in 2023. That is grim. Like, I don't know. Like, some people are just like, I would rather get rabies from my dog than look into any of the actual science around vaccines to realize this is all bullshit. It's so depressing. But, like, it goes further than that, right? Which is that if you're not vaccinating your dog, you're definitely not vaccinating your kids. Here's a study, an outbreak of measles in an under-vaccinated community. Published, when was this published? In Pediatrics on June 9th. Measles is readily spread to susceptible individuals, but is no longer endemic to the United States. In March 2011, measles was confirmed in a Minnesota child without travel abroad. This was the first identified case patient of an outbreak. An investigation was initiated to determine the source, prevent transmission, and examine measles, mumps, rubella, MMR vaccine coverage in the affected community. Investigation and response included case-patient follow-up, post-exposure prophylaxis, voluntary isolation and quarantine, and early MMR vaccine for non-immune shelter residents over 6 months and under 12 months of age. Vaccine coverage was assessed by using let's see. 21 measles cases were identified. The source was a 30-month-old US-born child of Somali descent infected while visiting Kenya. Measles spread in several settings, and over 3,000 individuals were exposed. 16 case patients were unvaccinated. 9 of the 16 were age eligible, 7 of the 9 had safety concerns, and 6 were of Somali descent. MMR vaccine coverage among Somali children declined significantly from 2004 through 2010, starting at 91.1% in 2004 and reaching 54.0% in 2010. This was the largest measles outbreak in Minnesota in 20 years, and aggressive response likely prevented additional transmission. Measles outbreaks can occur if under-vaccinated subpopulations exist. And so, like, this is what we're talking about. Like, when we are now getting to a point where we have vast swaths of the country opting to not vax their kids against measles, mumps, or rubella, we start to see those outbreaks. And people forget that those diseases are deadly to children. Your kids die if they get those. There is a non-zero chance that your kid could die if they get the measles. That's bad. It is bad that they are choosing to endanger children. And of course, the wide proliferation can then put other children who have been vaccinated at risk, because vaccination isn't the 100% guarantee. Just vastly decreases the likelihood that you are going to get infected. It doesn't eliminate it. So it really is just people are worried about their dogs getting autism, because heaven forbid autism exists in a community. Like, these people literally get up every day and say with their whole chest that they would rather have like a dead child than like potentially an autistic one. And vaccines don't even cause autism. It's so hateful. It's ridiculous. What's next? Polio? Oh boy.
Have you seen a dog around food? They definitely have neurodivergence as a standard stat.
Sake Zanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Not getting polio is woke. Do you fear the iron lung? Cowards. but a dog vaccination isn't going to help if you're not vaccinated and get measles. I don't understand what those two have to do with each other. Like the point of covering those two stories together is that some people are so hesitant to use vaccines that they won't even get their dogs vaccinated, let alone themselves or their children. It's the hesitancy around vaccines that was the common thread there, not the vaccination itself. It is your patriotic duty as an American to contract the black lung. Indeed. I feel like there is a battle of narratives and hegemony that is affecting people's mindsets. Yeah. That's literally politics. You are describing politics. So they're idiots, I guess. We are all mad at them for being stupid. What do? Yeah, we reinstate like vaccine mandates for public schools. Yeah. We implement a Medicare for all situation. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I would fight for my right for my children to be able to go to school and not get infected by the measles. Like, your child shouldn't have to run through a gauntlet of life-threatening illnesses just to get a basic public education. I don't know. Like, I think that's a reasonable thing to fight for. RFK is the horseman in white, yeah.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics being flame more.